under lesson 2 is probability distribution of a discrete random variable and its properties. With that, we will start this by a review. So first, we will determine whether the statement is true or false. If the answer is false, you can modify the statement to make it true. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's start. I want to see your answer in the chat box. Ang sagot sa chat box, syempre, ang unang makakapagbigay ng tamang sagot ay bibigyan ko ng recitation for today's. To start with, let us have number 1. Again, the statement says, determine if it is true or false. And if the answer is false, you can modify the statement to make it true. There are 4 outcomes if you toss 2 coins. True or false? Teka, ang dami na nila agad. Minsan, hihintayin niyo muna yung tanong, ha? Okay, so ang unang nakapagbigay ng tamang sagot is Vincent. Answer is true. The answer is true. Next. If you toss 3 coins, where X be the random variable representing the number of tails that occur, the possible values of the random variable X are 0, 1, and 2. Is this true or false? Number 2, lagyan po ng number 2 para hindi po magulo. Robin, wrong. True is not correct. If this is true, if this is false, what should be the correct answer? If the answer is false, you can modify the statement to make it true. Alin dyan ang babaguhin? Ang babaguhin dyan ay ang possible values. Ito. Okay, bumanglag is correct. There will be, the possible values are, X will be 0, 1, 2, and 3. Because we are tossing 3 coins. When we toss 3 coins, there are 3 possible way or possible outcome that we may come up with 3 heads. We may come up with 2 heads. Pwede ring 1. Pwede rin namang 0. So yan, tama yung sagot ni Bumangla. Next question. The sum of 3/4 plus 1/2 is equal to 5/8. True or false? Sige nga, i-compute nyo nga kung true or false yan. True or false? Ang sagot nyo, puro true. Ang sagot ko ay false. It's false. What is 3/4? It's false. Ano po ang 3/4 plus 1/2? LCD. 4. Diba? 4 divided by 4, 1 times 3. 3 plus 4 divided by 2. 2 times 1. 2. Hindi 5/4. Walang nakakuha. 5/4, 1 and, ay meron pala, si Troy dyan. Meron pa ako sa taas. Trojan. Trojan umanad, 1.25 is correct because when I have it divided or into mixed number, it's 1 and 1/4. So equals to 1.25. Check. Tama si Trojan. That's false. So, ang sagot natin ay false, 1.25. Let us have the next. 0.25 plus 0.6. Wait lang. Mali yata ako dun. 0.6 ito. 0.25 plus 0.6 plus 0.36 plus 0.28 equals 0.95. True. Number 4, true. Mansanas is correct.
Apple.
Yes, si Apple ay galing vegan. Next. Answer here is true. Next. If P of x is equal to x plus 1 all over 6 and the value of P of 1 is equal to 1/2. Tama ba? True or false? Number 5. So may nakita na akong tamang sagot. Si Robin. False. 1/3 is correct. Robin Sipagan, you're correct. 1/3 is correct. So, paano yung kinuha? P of 1, ibig sabihin, x is equal to 1. So, magiging x plus 1 all over 6. Substitute natin yung 1. 1 plus 1 divided by 6 equals 2 over 6. I-simplify mo yan, divisible by 2. 2 divided by 2 ay 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. That's why it's 1/3 and not 1/2. That's why it is false. Next number. If P of x is 3 divided by x minus 2, the value of P of 4 is equal to 3 over 2. Is this correct? Is this true? Number 6. Number 6. First to give the correct answer is Kitorio, and it is true. That is correct. So 3, P of 4 is equal to 3 divided by 4 minus 2 equals 3 over 2. That's why it's... Sino nga yun? Si Kitorio. Kitorio, anong section ka po?
Italian po, ma'am.
Okay, so maraming Italian ngayon. Okay, that's for the review. Next is another part of the review wherein we will find for the values of the random variable y representing the number of green balls when 2 balls are thrown in succession without replacement from a jar containing 4 red balls and 5 green balls. So, ang nire-represent natin ay ang random variable y is the number of green balls. We're asked to find for the value of the random variable. So, yung ginawa natin last time, finding the value of the variable, first we will have the possible outcome. And then, ito yung value of the random variable. Random variable y. Number of green. Can you still see?
Labo, ma'am.
Malabo?
Hindi po masyado.
Palitan natin ng kulay. Black. So, let us now What are the possible outcome? Give me one. Chat box. Pag green at saka, red at saka green nga. Give me one possible outcome pag nag-draw ako ng 2 balls. Pwedeng red, di ba? Tama ba? Posible kong makuha ang red pag nag-draw ako. Mula sa jar. If this is the jar, merong 5 green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Merong 4 na red. What are the possible outcomes or sample space that I may have? Pagpipila ko dyan. Posibleng parehas na red. Posible din na parehas na green. Posible din na isang green, isang red. Posible ding red at saka green. May iba pa ba? May iba pa ba kayo naiisip na posible? So kahit saan natin paikot-ikutin, dito lang tayo, ito lang yung possible outcomes na pwede lumabas. Kahit ibalik ko na ibalik yan, walang ibang chance na ito at ito. So these are now the possible outcome. From here, we will count the number of green balls in each outcome. Dito sa red, ilang green? May kausap pa ako. Sa red, ilang green meron?
0.
Wala po, zero.
Wala. So, 0.
Zero po.
Sa
Zero.
green, ilang green meron? 2.
Dalawa.
Green,
Two.
Isa. Sa red,
Isa.
Isa.
Therefore, the values of the random variable are, ito yun, 0, 1, and 2. Dalawang entry ng 1 pero hindi inuulit yan. That's taken as 1. So, ito yung sagot. That's how we find the value of the random variable. First, we will list down all the possible outcomes. And then second, we will count the number of random variable. Kung green ang hinahanap, bilangin mo yung green. Kung red naman ang hinahanap, edi green ang bilangin mo. In this case, we're asked to find the number of green balls. So, ito yun. This is the final answer. So, let's start. To start with, we have our activity number 1. I want every one of you to read and analyze the situation given. So, in a computer laboratory, the teacher wants to find out if there is a defective computer. Suppose 3 computers were tested at random. She asked one of her computer system servicing students to list all the possible outcomes, such that D represents the defective computer and N represents the non-defective computer. Let X be the random variable for the number of defective computers. Then, illustrate the probability distribution of the random variable X. So, ito yon. Ito yung mga computer. Ang pinapagawa sa atin is list all the possible outcome. Suppose 3 computers. 3. So we will list down all the possible outcomes such that D represents the defective and N represents the non-defective. Our random variable is the number of defective computer. So ibig sabihin, ito yung bibilangin natin mamaya as we have the list of all the possible outcomes. Based on the problem, observe, analyze, and answer the following question. Number 1, we will list the sample space in the given experiment. How many outcomes are possible? Letter D, we will construct a table showing the number of defective computers in each outcome and assign this number to this outcome. What is the value of the random variable X? Letter C, we will illustrate a probability distribution. What is the probability value P of X to each value of the random variable? And D, what is the sum of the probabilities of all the values of the random variable? Letter E, what do you notice about the probability of each value of the random variable? So let us discuss this one by one. First, we will list down the sample space. Ano yung mga sample space? Sige nga. Tatlo daw. Tatlo daw ang kailangan. Pag ganyan, ang lagi kong tinuturo is to have a representation. Alam natin na meron tayong dalawang computer. It's either defective or the non-defective. Dalawa lang naman sila eh. So, if I got, at my first draw, if I have defective as the first result, bubunot ako or pipili ako ulit ng susunod pang computer. Kasi tandaan na kanina, tatlo ang pinihingi sa atin. Ito, tatlo. That's why, kung tatlo yan, tatlo din ang kukuhanin nating experiment. Tatlong beses tayo magdo-draw ng chance, ng experiment. So, ayan. If I have D as my first outcome, I will again choose another set of computer. I may have another defective and another non-defective. Yun ang posible kong makuha. Ngayon, kung ang makuha ko naman ay defective, bubunod pa ako ng ikatatlong computer, ang possible ko pa rin makuha ay pwedeng defective, pwede rin namang non-defective. Balik dito sa non-defective. Kung non-defective ang nakuha ko, kukuha ako ulit ng isa pang computer dahil tatlo ang kailangan ko. Pwedeng makuha ko defective, pwede rin non-defective. Yun. Sa defective pa lang yun. Punta tayo sa non-defective na napili natin kanina. So, may mga pumapasok pa rin. So, dito tayo sa non-defective. Kung non-defective yan, ang possible kong makuha sa pangalawa ay pwedeng defective, pwedeng non-defective. Sa defective, pipila pa ako ulit ng isa pa, pwede ko ulit mapili, defective, non-defective. Sa non-defective, pili ako ulit ng isa pa, pwedeng defective, pwedeng non-defective. So, yan. Ito yung mga possible outcome. Ilista natin sila ngayon. Possible outcome, PO. Tapos, value of the random variable, X. Ay napasok pa. Sige lang, pasok lang ng pasok. Sana mas maaga next time. Okay, so value of the random variable, X. X ang representation natin. Tapos, ang X na yan ay number of, ano nga ba? Defective. So, isa-isahin natin sila. D, D, D. Defective, defective, defective. Next, D, D, N. These are the possible outcome. Next, D, tapos na ako dito sa D. Ayan na, D, N na. D, N, D. D, hey. D, N, D. Then D and N. What? I am having a class here. I'm not talking to you. I am having a class. Okay, so ito yung apat mula dito sa defective. Dito naman sa non-defective, ganun ulit. NDD. Kailangan lang talaga matyaga kayo maggaganito maglista. Mas marami pa nga yung iba minsan, hindi lang ganito karami. NDN para magkaroon kayo ng tamang probability. Tapos na tayo dyan sa taas. Dito naman sa baba, NND. And then last ay NNN. Ngayon, bibilangan na natin ang number of defective. Dito, ilan ang defective sa first column?
Tatlo.
Second,
Dalawa.
Two.
dito,
Two.
Dalawa.
sa pang-apat,
Isa.
Isa lang
lima,
po.
dalawa,
Dalawa.
isa,
Isa.
Dalawa.
Isa.
isa,
Isa po.
Wala. Zero.
wala. Okay, good. Hindi na iyak. Ito na ngayon yung value of the random variables. List down.
Zero po.
Bakit may kinuha ko yung yung value of the random variables. So, sabi dito, list the sample space. Ito na yon. How many possible outcomes na nakuha natin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, there are 8 possible outcomes. Yun yung sagot. So, ito yung sagot sa una. Ang sagot sa una ay ito sa letter A. Bakit? Teka lang, hindi nakikisama yung aking ballpen. The answer here is this part. Ito yung mga possible outcome. And then how many possible outcomes are there? 8. Next, letter B. Construct a table showing the number of defective computers in each outcome and assign this number to this outcome. What is the value of the random variable? Nagawa na natin yun kanina. Ulitin na lang natin. PO at saka value of the random variable X. Random variable X. And this is number of defective. Ulit. So, DDD. Ito ay meron 3. DDN. Meron 2. Meron pang napasok. DND. Meron tayong 2. Merong DNN. Merong 1. Next ay NDD. May 2. NDN. Merong 1. NND. Merong 1. At saka last ay NNN. Merong wala. 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, construct a table showing the number of defective computers in each outcome and assign this number to this outcome. So what are the value or what is the value of the random variable X? The answer here is the values of the random variable X are 0, 0, 1. Kung anong mga nakikita niyong number dyan, wag lang ulitin. 2 and 3. Yan ang sagot sa letter D. Letter C. Ang ginagawa natin ngayon ay finding the value of the random variable. Ganyan maghanap. Ang first, i-list down mo yung possible outcome. Then second, bilangin mo yung random variable. Tapos, mag-conclude ka. Ito ang conclusion. Ito ang pinaka-final answer. Next is, of course, we count already. And then the final answer would be this way. Yun na. Hindi ko lang tinabular. Each of these numbers corresponds to an event in the sample space. Of equally likely outcomes for this experiment. Since the value of the random variable x represents the number of defective computers, x is 0 in NNN, di ba? X is 1 in NND, NDN, DNN. X is equal to 2 in DND, DDN, NDD. And x is equal to 3 to DDD. If each of the outcome is equally likely to occur, then the probability is, ang probability ng bawat isa ay probability of event, ito, probability of event is equal to the number of outcomes in the event divided by the number of outcomes in the sample space. That's letter C. Illustrate a probability distribution. What is the probability or what is the probability value P of x to each value of the random variable? Of course, we will assign probability values P of x to each value of the random variable. Since the number of outcome is 8, the probability that 0 defective computer will come out is 1 over 8. The probability that 1 is defective computer will come out is 3 over 8. Or P of 1 is 3 over 8. The probability that 2 defective computers will come out is 3 over 8. Or P over 2 is 3 over 8. And the probability that 3 defective computers will come out is 1 over 8. Or P of 3 is 1 over 8. Balikan natin yung kanina. Ito. Yan. Kung babalikan natin, our outcome is 8. Kaya kung kukuhanin natin yung probability niyan, kung kukuhanin natin ang probability, we'll have x here. We will now list down all the possible outcome. X. Ano-ano yung mga yon? 0, 1, 2, and 3. And then, the probability of x. Take note na lahat yan ay 8. Bibilangin mo ngayon kung ilan ang 0 sa nakuha natin. Ilan ang 0 dito? Isa. So, the probability of getting 0 is 1 over 8. Next. Ilang ang 1 dito? Isa, dalawa, tatlo. So, yung probability of event ay probability ng outcomes 3 over the total number of outcomes, 8. Can you follow? Nakakasunod po yung pagkuha ng probability.
Yes po.
Opo.
Ilan ang 2? Isa, dalawa, tatlo. So, the probability of getting 2 defective is 3 over 8. And of course, the probability of getting 3 defective is 1 over 8. This is now the probability distribution table of a discrete random variable. Kaya yung sinasabi niya kaninang statement, ang P of 0 ay 1 over 8. Ang P of 1 is 3 over 8. Ang P of 2 is 3 over 8. And then, P of 3 is 1 over. So, that's letter C. Yun. Ito yung sinasabi kanina, yung ginawa ko kanina sa kabilang page. Tapos, ito yung kinuhanan natin ng probability. Illustrating this in a table would give us the number of computer. Ulitin natin, we'll have 0, 1, 2, or 3. Pwede rin naman kasi siyang decimal. So, yung 1 over 3 natin, ano siya sa decimal? Sige nga, calculator nyo nga. Ay, 1 over 3. 1 over 8. Ano ang 1 over 8?
0.125.
Correct. 0.125. Ay. 1 over 8 is equivalent to 0.125. 3 over 8 is equivalent to
375 po.
Okay, good. Again, another 3 over 8 here. That's 0.375. And 1 over 8 is equal to 0.125. You can also construct the table in this form. Bukod dito sa vertical na to, pwede rin mo rin namang i-present ang table mo horizontally. Ito, ganito. Ito, horizontally. Then letter D, what is the sum of the probabilities of all values of the random variable? Ano daw yung sum? By adding all the probabilities, we'll have 1 over 8, di ba? Yung 0 ay 1 over 8. Yung 3 over 8 ay yung 1. Going back to our probabilities kanina, ayan, ito yung mga probabilities. So, in letter D question, what is the sum of the probabilities of all values of the random variable? By adding all the probabilities, we have 1 over 8 plus 3 over 8 plus 3 over 8 plus 1 over 8 equals 8 over 8 equals 1. You can also use decimal in determining the sum of the probabilities. Kanina, convert natin sa decimal. We can also have 0.125 plus 0.375 plus 0.375 plus 0.125 is still equal to 1. So if you add all the probabilities, the sum is equal to 1. Tandaan nyo yan. If you add all the probabilities, the sum is equal to 1. What do you notice about the probability of each value of the random variable? Ano ang napansin nyo? From the given activity, you can see that the values of the random variable, the values of the probability range from 0 to 1. The probability distribution of a discrete random variable x is a list of the possible values of x and the corresponding probabilities of the values. It specifies the probability associated with each possible value of the random variable. The distribution function of discrete random variables are concentrated as a mass for a particular value and generally known as probability mass function. So with that, we will have the properties of discrete probability distribution. Properties ng discrete probability distribution. Kailan natin masasabi na ang binigay ng mga probabilities ay under sa discrete probability distribution? First property, kailangan will meet this given requirement. The probability of each value of the random variable must be between or equal to 0 and 1. Ito yung symbol. Dapat yung probability niya nandyan lang. Walang mas mababa sa 0, walang mas mataas sa 1. Lagi lang nandyan ang probability para masabing under siya sa discrete probability distribution. Pangalawang condition, the sum of all the probabilities of all the values of the random variable must be, take note of that, equal to 1. In symbol, we will write it as the summation of P of X is equal to 1. So ito yung dalawang dapat i-consider para masabi natin na ang given distribution ay discrete probability distribution. Ito ang kailangan mong parehas i-test. Kung na-test mo na greater than 1 na agad ang kanyang probability value, hindi na siya discrete probability distribution. Hindi mo na kailangan mag-test nito. Kung na-test mo naman at nandito siya sa range na to, pasok ang mga value ng probability sa range na to, kailangan mong i-test ang pangalawa. Lahat ba ng probabilities na nabanggit ay ang samba ay 1 lang? Kung oo, yes, it is a discrete probability distribution. Kung hindi, it is not a discrete probability distribution. Can you still hear me?
Opo, ma'am.
Okay. Kala ko kasi may sabi, ma'am, nawawala ka po. Hindi na po ako nakasunod. Nawala po ako. Example. So this time, we will determine if the distribution is a discrete probability distribution. Nakuha na ba yung dapat Nakuha nyo na ba yung dapat dalawang condition para masabing discrete? Ang una, dapat ang value ay nandito sa between, the value of the random variable must be between or equal to 0 and 1. Tapos dapat ang sum nilang lahat ay 1. Let's start. Determine if the distribution is a discrete probability distribution. What's that? First condition is the value of the probability between 0 and 1. Yes ba? Chat box. First condition pa lang, Robin. Yes, it is. 1/3 lahat. So, dahil 1/3 lahat yan, check siya sa first condition. Second condition. Second condition, dapat ang lahat ng mga to, the sum of 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 is equal to 1. Is this equal to 1? Bumanglag. No daw. Okay, second, si Robin is no. Correct. Kasi if I add this, since similar denominator sila, similar fractions. So just copy the denominator, add the numerator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5/3. 5/3 is not equal to 1. So therefore, this is not a probability probability distribution. Yan. Second. Ako po. Ba't nauna yun? Determine if the distribution below is a discrete probability distribution. You can also express the values of the probabilities in decimal form. First condition, is this between 0 and 1? A yes or a no? Yes. Yes, tama si Kitorio. Tama din si Mansanas. Okay, second condition is the summation of P of X equals to 1. Yes or no? Second, yes. Ala, hindi ko na alam kung nasaan yung mga ano nila. Puro yes, yes. Tama naman. Lagyan nyo ng number ko, nung number tayo. Ang may number ay si Chester. Yes. So, since parehas yes yan, therefore, this is a probability distribution. Yan. Number 3. Lagyan nyo ng number ha. The probability of each value of the random variable lies between 0 and 1, and the sum of its probabilities is equal to 1, or summation of P of X is equal to 1. Therefore, this is a probability distribution. Number 3. Determine whether the given values can serve as the values of the probability distribution. Yan. Yan lang ang given. Is this number 3? First condition. Asa. Unang sagot, si Vincent. Looking at each probability, this is 0.5, this is 1.01, this is 0.2. Dito pa lang, it's a big no. So, kung no ka na dyan, hindi mo na kailangan i-test yung pangalawa pa na probability of, the summation of P of X is equal to 1. Bakit? Kasi ito, more than 1 na. So, this is a probability. The probability of each value of the random variable does not lie between 0 and 1 because P of 2 is 1.01. Therefore, this is not a probability distribution. Next, B. How about B? B. Lagyan nyo ng B. 3B. No na agad. Ang first nyong i-check ay kung ang probability of X is between 1 and 0. Yes or a no? First condition, it's a yes. Second condition is the summation of P of X equals 1. Second, yes. O, sa bumanglag, yes. Yes, this is also equal to 1. Therefore, this is a discrete probability distribution. Ito yung conclusion. The probability of each value, ano ba yung kanina? Vittorio, Pagan, bumanglag. The probability of each value of the random variable lies between 0 and 1, and the sum of its probabilities is equal to 1, or summation of P of X is equal to 1. Therefore, this is a probability distribution. 4. P of X. Determine whether the following can serve as the probability distribution of a random variable X. Same. Yes ba yan? Yes? Okay. So, stop muna sa chat. Meron sasabi, A, no, for no. Let us check. Ang P of X, na hinaan nga yung pinapanood mo. Yung P of X is equal to 1 over 7. For every X, that is equal to 1, 2, 3 hanggang 9. So, ang X ay 1, 2, 9. Ang P of X, if that's 1, the value is 1 over 7. So, 1 over 7, 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 lahat yan, hanggang sa 9. Saka pa lang tayo magtitest. Is the value of the probability of X between 1 and 0? Yes, ang sagot. Is the summation of P of X equals to 1? Doon natin aalamin kung yes pa rin. Or A, no. Okay, so for A, no. Kung kukuhanin natin ng sum, 1 over 7, so dito natin kuhanin. Since iisang denominator, copy the denominator, and then add the numerator. 1 plus 1, 2, plus 1, 3, plus 1, 4, plus 1, 5, plus 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is 9 over 7 equal to 1? This is definitely not. So this is not equal to 1. It's a no. Therefore, this is not a probability distribution. Naiintindihan na ngayon ang probability distribution. Okay, here's the conclusion. The probability of each value of the random variable has the same value, which is 1 over 7. And this value lies between 0 and 1. But the sum of its probabilities is 9 over 7, which is not equal to 1. Hence, this is not a probability distribution because the summation of P of X is not equal to 1. This is not a probability distribution. Next. Okay, so letter B. Ito yung letter B. P of X is equal to 12 over 25 for X is equal to 12 over 25X. For X is equal to 1, 2, and 3. So, gagawa natin siya ng table, guys. Ito yung X, ito yung probability of X. Ang X natin ay 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ang given natin ay P of X is equal to 12 over 25x. If x is equal to 1, or p of 1 is equal to 12 over 25 times 1. Therefore, this is 12 over 25. So, yan ang ilalagay mo dyan. 12 over 25. Is 12 over 25 less than 1 but greater than 0? It's a yes. If p is 2, if p is 2, we'll have 12 divided by 25 times 2. Pwede kang mag-divide. 12 divided by 2, 6. 6 over 25. Is this less than 1 but greater than 0? Yes pa rin. 3. P of 3 is equal to 12 over 25 times 3. Why am I multiplying this by 3? Because the given is 12 over 25x. So I am just substituting 3 to the x. So 12, to simplify it, 12 divided by 3 ay 4. So 4 divided by 25 is 4 over 25. And yes, it is still below 1 but greater than 0. Sa first condition, yes siya. The probability of x is less than 1 but greater than 0, yes sa dyan. Magkakaalam-alam sa second condition. Ang second condition, dapat ang sum ng probabilities niya, summation of the probability of x ay dapat 1. So add natin. 12 over 25 plus 6 over 25 plus 4 over 25. 12 plus 8, 18 plus 4, 22 over 25. It's not equal to 1. Therefore, this is not a probability distribution. Yan. Question so far? May question? Ay, tahimik sila.
Mamula po.
Okay. Letter B. Ano pa rin ba yun? Ulit ko ba?
Opo, ma'am. Yan lang yun, ma'am. Tinagdagan lang ng isa, ma'am.
Ay, nadagdagan lang. Okay, kung madadagdagan siya ng 4, tingnan natin if this still a probability distribution. Ilalagay natin dito yung 1 kanina. So, 12 over, kung ipapakita natin ulit yung solution, ito ay, ano nga ito kanina? 12 over 25. Ito, 12 divided by 2, 6 over 25. Ito, ano nga to? 12 divided by 3, 4 over 25. And then 12 divided by 4 will have 3 over 25. First condition is the probability of x. Ito nga ako. Ito pala solution. Is the probability of x is equal, less than or equal to 1 but greater than 0. It's a yes. So second condition is the summation of the probability of x equals 1. Add natin. 12 over 25 plus 6 over 25 plus 4 over 25 plus 3 over 25.
Yes.
Nabura lahat. Ulit. 12 over 25 plus 12 divided by 2, 6 over 25 plus 4 over 25. Why is it like this? 12 divided by 3, 4. 12 divided by 4, 3. Plus 3 over 25. Bakit may dumi? So therefore, ang magiging sagot ay 25 over 25 equals 1. So since 6 over 25, 4 over 25, and then 3 over 25. In short, this is a probability distribution. The probability of each value of the random variable lies between 0 and 1, and the sum of its probability is equal to 1, or summation of p of x is equal to 1. Therefore, it is a probability distribution. Okay, your turn. Kuha ng papel. Magsasagot kayo. 1 to 7. I am giving you 5 minutes to answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The direction is determined whether the distribution represents a probability distribution. Explain your answer. Magtatawag ako mamaya. Kuha ng papel, ballpen, calculator. Okay? Mag-check na rin kayo ng mga sarili nyong sagot. Honesty is still the best policy. Are you ready? Volunteer.
Yes,
okay, number 1, Vincent. Is this a probability distribution?
No, ma'am.
It's not. Are you sure with that? Why is it not? In the first condition, is it between 0 and 1? It's a yes, right? Sa first condition, yes. The value of the probabilities are between 0 and 1. Sa second condition, is the sum of all the probabilities equals 1?
No,
Pag
ma'am.
i-add natin yan, 1/4 plus 1/8 plus
No, ma'am.
1/4
It's all over.
plus 1 over 8. So, ang LCD niyan ay 8. 8 divided by 4, 2 times 1, 2. 8 divided by 8, 1 times 1, 1. 8 divided by 4 ay 2 times 1, 2 plus 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, this is not equal to 1. Therefore, it is not a probability distribution. Check your answer if you're correct. Sino yung tumama?
Ako po.
Sino po siya? Okay, si Micaela tumama. Okay, si Reynaldo, okay din. How about the others? Yun lang yung dalawang way to check if it is a probability distribution or not. Number 2, Reynaldo, you are raising your hand. What is the answer in number 2?
Not, ma'am.
Not. Why? What is the sum? Since all of the probability are less than 1, but greater than 0, ano ang sum nito? What is the probability? What is the sum of the probability? Ang LCD niya ay 6. 6 divided by 6, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 6 divided by 3, 2 plus 2 plus 1 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 naman ah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is a probability distribution. Number 2 is a probability distribution. Number 3. For condition number 1, it's a yes. The probability are between 0 and 1. But how about the sum? Ang sum niya ay 0.35 plus 0.25 ay 0.60. Ito, 0.43 o lampas. This is not equal to 1. So therefore, it is not a probability distribution. Can you follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, number 4. All values of the probability are between 0 and 1. Check sa unang condition. Pangalawang condition, i-add natin. 0.31 plus 0.37 ay 0.68. 68 to, di ba? Plus 0.32. 0.42. It's a probability, summation of probability of x is not equal to 1. Therefore, it is not a probability distribution. Here, number 5. 12 over 35, 8 over 35, and 3 over 7 are all in condition number 1. But in condition number 2, kailangan na ulit natin mag-add. Ang LCD ay 35. 35 divided by 35 ay 1 times 12. 12 plus 8 plus 35 divided by 7 ay 5 times 3, 15. So, 35 over 35 is equal to 1. Therefore, it is a probability distribution. Question so far? Question so far?
Wala na po.
Alam nyo na kung paano mag-determine if it is probability distribution or not? Alam nyo na ba? May agam-agam pa ba? Sa number 6 naman, 1 over 7 to. So, kung gagawa natin ng table yan, probability of x, tsaka x, probability of x. Kada 1 may 1 over 7. 2, 1 over 7. 3, 1 over 7. Hanggang sa 7. 5, 1 over 7. 6, 1 over 7. 7, 1 over 7. So, lahat ng 1 over 7 ay nasa category 1. Yes, it is between 0 and 1. Yes, yon. Pero yung sum kaya? One to 7 ay 7 over 7. So, therefore, it is a probability distribution. Dito sa number 7, magsusolve tayo. Kailangan isolve yan. X over P of X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X minus 2 all over 3, yung isosolve mo dito ay yung x papalitan mo ng 1. 1 minus 2 over 3. O, kita nyo pa lang dyan. It will give us negative 1/3. Dyan pa lang, first condition. Negative 1/3 is not between 0 and 1. So, dito pa lang x na. So, hindi mo na kailangan magtuloy. This is not a probability distribution. Question so far? Ilan ang naka-7? Yan, si Gatorio, very good. So, anong natutunan nyo today? Let us summarize. what you have learned today. Give your answer in the following statement. Ilagay sa chat box. It is the list of possible values of a random variable x and corresponding probabilities of the values. Ano nga ito? It is, anybody write your answer at the chat box? May I see? It is the list of possible values of a random variable x and the corresponding probabilities of the values. Anybody? Ano tawag dito? Ito yung table. Kaninang ginagawa natin. Ang tawag natin ay
Corresponding
probability distribution. Correct si Maria Kathleen. Probability distribution. Number 2, what is the sum of all probabilities of all values of the random variable? Number 2, what is the sum? Yes, tama si Erica Lay. 1. 1 is correct. Erica Lay. Next, number 3. What should be the probability of each value of the random variable? Write your answer in symbol. Sabihin nyo na lang dyan. Ako na magsusulat na symbol. Ano nga? What should be the probability of each value? Ito yung madalas kong isulat kanina. Oo. Ano nga ang value niyan? Probability of x
plus
is
less than 2.
oo, between 0 and 1. So less than or equal to 1 but greater than or equal to 0. Yan. How will you determine if the given distribution is a probability distribution? Paano nyo malalaman? There are 2 conditions. Yung una, itong condition.
Start to 0.
Oo. The value should be between probability of x should be between should be. O, pag hindi masulat yung ganitong symbol, ilagay sa word. Should be between 0 and 1. Pangalawa, dapat ang probability, the sum of the probability of x is equal to 1. Enumerate the steps on how to illustrate the probability distribution of a discrete random variable by completing the statements given below. Determine first the, ano to? Sample space, correct si tayo. Sample space in the given experiment. Then find the possible values of the, ano to? Then find the possible values of the, start with the letter R, 2 words, R and V. Ano yun?
Random variable.
Correct. Sino yung nagsasalita? Hindi ko kita eh.
Sumande, ma'am.
Okay, so Mandy is correct. Random variable. Illustrate the probability distribution by assigning, ano to? By assigning what? Illustrate the probability distribution by assigning, siyempre, probability. Ano?
Table po.
Hindi na table. Probability to each value of the random variable. So, yan. This ends our discussion. Once again, I am Mrs. Juliet B.